Hello everybody, this is the Airing It Out podcast. I am Sam and welcome to our series, the 12 Days of Mindfulness-mas, where we are counting down the 12 days to Christmas with new episodes every single day with tips and tricks on how to look after yourself and the people around you during this Christmas series. We hope you enjoy, stay tuned and take care of yourselves. Hello everybody and welcome back to the 12 Days of Mindfulness-mas with the Airing It Out podcast. Now, it's all well and good having an idealistic, picture-perfect, movie-esque Christmas, but for some people the reality of Christmas can be quite the opposite and it can be quite real. Sometimes the cause of the issue is family. The family dynamic isn't always perfect. It can be fractious, it can be volatile, and it can be just uncomfortable and awkward. So today we're going to explore some of the tips and tricks in how we can navigate those family dynamics at Christmas. Let's go. So the first tip that we're going to look at is if things start to get a little bit rocky, a little bit heated and a little bit tense, what we're going to do is we're just going to remove ourselves from the situation. We are going to take ourselves out of it and not be a part of it anymore. Something's going on, and if we don't feel like we can be a constructive part of it, and it's getting a bit too much for us, and we can see those warning lights coming, then all we're simply going to do is subtract ourselves from that situation. Take ourselves off somewhere, we can take a second, we can be quiet, we can be calm, and we can just allow ourselves to breathe a little bit, yeah? So the second tip is that we're going to use the people around us, the people who might not be there with us in person, but are in spirit. And that's having a friend on hand to call if you need them to. Now, if you know your Christmas is going to be difficult, or a friend knows that your Christmas is going to be difficult, then there is nothing wrong with saying to them, I'm anticipating things, or there's a chance that things might not go so well. Please could you have your phone near you? Because there might be an instance where I have to remove myself and I want somebody to talk to, because if you're able to handle yourself in that situation, when you take yourself away from it, that's fine. Do that if you're able to. But if you feel like when you take yourself out of that situation, you need somebody to speak to, somebody to perhaps listen to what's going on, someone to perhaps bring you down, or just another person on the other end of that phone that you can trust and you can rely on, then ask that person to be there for you. There's nothing wrong with that. And that friend, being that good friend to you, will more than likely say, yes, that's fine. I'll keep my phone on hand. And if you need anything, just give me a text, give me a call, and we'll have a chat. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is empathize with others. Now, you might have, like I mentioned earlier, a volatile situation or family dynamic where almost at the drop of a hat, something could blow up. And what we can do is, instead of leaping headfirst into reacting to that, what we can do is put ourselves in that other person's shoes. I filmed a conference once, and there was a guy that I haven't been able to forget. He had a difficult name, so I don't quite remember it, but his first name was Ted. And his technique was called mentalizing. It's putting yourself in that other person's position. Somebody's cut you off in traffic, or someone's gone round the roundabout way too fast. Instead of effing and jeffing and giving them absolute hell for leather from in your car, why might they be doing that? They might have an incredibly important meeting, but their spouse might be about to give birth, or somebody might have had an accident. But it's about putting yourself in that other person's position. What might be going wrong? What is it that might be causing them to have that reaction? And that's something that we can do at Christmas as well. With all the complicated intricacies of family dynamics, who knows for what reason somebody might blow up and come out of nowhere with something. So if somebody does have an emotional reaction or something does flare up, instead of getting in there ham-fisted and being like, okay, where from that person's position might they be talking from? Might they be acting from? Does this person potentially have a reason for acting in that way? What can we understand about them that has made them behave in that way? And what that does is it allows us to take a second and appreciate where they're coming from and how we can understand them in this situation, rather than just reacting, retaliating, and doing nothing productive for that situation. Let's be there for them, let's understand them, give them the patience, the listening ear, and the time that they might need in order for them to bring themselves back down, instead of just having a verbal tennis match of emotions. So that's tip number 3. Now, tip number 4 is a little bit like tip number 3, but it's going to be for ourselves. So something's happened and tensions are rising. Okay, so what are we going to do about that? We can put ourselves in other people's shoes, but now we're stood in our own, okay? And we got to think, okay, instead of blowing up, what can we do to not make the situation escalate? And that's going to be process and regulate our own emotions. A lot of this comes from the Stoic belief of observing and witnessing what's going on within yourself before letting that take control. So if you feel a certain way, you can feel the anger bubbling up within you, or you can feel the anxiety. Recognize that, accept that, and give yourself a second to feel that. But before reacting, take another second. Okay, what I want to do right now is retaliate. What I want to do is tell Auntie Margaret to shove that stuffing up her ass. But we're not going to do that, because Auntie Margaret would probably get more than pissed off at that. So we're going to take a second, process how we feel, and say, actually, I do feel upset. You have upset me, but you know what, Auntie Margaret? That's fine. You can sit there, say what you like. You're not going to get to me. That's tip number 4. Is that number 5? Number 4, thank you, Ben. Okay, moving on to tip number 5. So tip number 5. So much like tip number 2, this one is what we can do for other people. And if you're in that family situation, or with the people that you're spending Christmas with, and you might have a problematic person, or you might have someone that is a cause for grief, a cause for upset, a cause for stress, okay? If there's more than you and that person in that situation, then we have a few ways now that we can look after ourselves. But at the same time, it's quite easy to assume that that other person in that situation might be experiencing something the same, particularly if they're related. So, okay, we know how to look after ourselves, and we know how to not let that person get to us and act out of emotion, but we've also got to be there for that other person. If you're able to be there for that other person and support them through it, then the chances are that they might be able to then do the same for you. And if you two are able to work together, it's like my mum says, problem shared is a problem halved. Well, if you are able to create that bond in that situation, then you've kind of doubled your support through getting through that, because you're now there for each other. Instead of you fending for yourself, you've now got somebody else who you can rely on and who can rely on you. And that means that you two are able to get through this together. So tip number 5 is look out for and support the people that are around you in these difficult situations. So those were our 5 tips on how to handle family dynamics at Christmas. That was one of the 12 Airing It Out podcast Mindfulness-mas episodes. Please stick around and check out some of our others. We're uploading every one day for the 12 days of Christmas. So only short, digestible clips, but I hope you stick around for them. Now, in the comments of this video, please let us know, what are your tips for handling a difficult family dynamic? Now, we've tried our best to put ourselves in everybody else's shoes in hypothetical situations. But if you're in that situation and you're dealing with something, please let us know how you deal with that, because somebody watching this video might be in that exact same situation. And if you have a way of dealing with that family dynamic that they haven't yet known, you could be the one to help them out. So let's start helping each other out. Share and comment your tips for handling family dynamics, and stick around for tomorrow's episode. We hope you enjoyed, and please take care of yourself and have a Merry Christmas. So here we are at the end of the episode. Thank you for sticking around. Hopefully it means that you didn't get too bored if you lasted this long, so we appreciate you staying. Just a reminder, if you did want to stay in touch with what it is that we're doing, you can follow us on our socials and wherever it is that you're hearing this podcast, whether it be YouTube or Spotify. And if you did want to donate to us and help support us keep doing what we're doing, you can find links to the donation page, which is Buy Me a Coffee, on our website and through our link tree on our socials. Thank you again for tuning in. All of the links can be found in the description, and we sincerely hope that you join us for our next episode. Please take care of yourself, and we'll see you again.